Being an entrepreneur, especially in Nigeria, is an extreme sport. So it's not cast in stone and it's not an easy journey, especially in a country like Nigeria where you have government policies changing. I remember there was a year that in one day, as a business, we lost over like 50 million in Forex different. One thing I've learned in life is there is no elevator in life. You have to take the stairs.
A person loses that amount of money. How do you know that's not the end and you should keep going?
These are the things that prove you. It takes you also back to the reason why you're doing what you're doing. For me, when that happened to me, I felt like, no, I can't continue anymore. This is it. But when I looked at the number of people that work with me, I'm the means of their livelihood. I had to encourage myself and say, you know what? This is bad, but it's not the end. You have to be strong for these people. There's science to making money. And it comes with education. Choose your network wisely. They can make or marry you. Treasure your network. Invest in people. Believe the best about everyone. And beyond all, even if you doubt yourself, even if you are losing faith, keep pushing.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Unpacking with Tayo George. And I'm really excited for today's episode because I have a really special guest with me online. I was about to say in the studio, but online. Thank you so much for joining us today. Come on the journey. I promise it's going to be very exciting. So before we move forward at all, I'd like to introduce my guest. I have with me today Mrs. Yemi Chukwurah, a woman who has spent more than 2 decades, actually. I was going to say almost 2 decades, but I would have been wrong. She spent more than 2 decades proving that entrepreneurship is not a sprint, but it's an extreme sport. My guest, Mrs. Omoyemi Chukwurah, is the CEO of CEIBS and Stitches Limited, a garment manufacturing company, which she founded back in 2002. For 23 years, she's navigated the ups and downs of business in Nigeria. She's a superwoman, to be honest. Anybody who's been in business for over 2 decades in Nigeria and is successful at it is worth listening to. So she's scaled her company, she's built global sourcing partnerships, and she's mentored business women along the way. I like to say that Mrs. Chukwurah is a Chinese person in a Nigerian skin, and you find out why as we go forward. Her journey has taken her from classrooms of OAU. I think this is where OAU people will be like, oh, greatest OAU. How do you guys hail yourself? So
Great effect.
Great Ife, but I mean, Unilag is the greatest. So her journey has taken her from the classrooms of OAU, Great Ife, to advanced leadership programs at CEIBS in Shanghai and even Harvard. She's not just running a business, she's shaping an industry, serving as a voice for SMEs and showing that resilience is a superpower in real life. She's showing what resilience looks like in real life. But behind the achievements are the stories of grit, tough lessons, and faith that carried her through setbacks. And beyond the boardroom, she's also a wife, she's a mother, a mentor, balancing family with her calling to build and to lead. So this conversation is not just a highlight reel, I promise. It's about the reality, the pain, the perseverance, the strategies, and the lessons you and I can apply in our own work and lives. Mrs. Chukwurah, it's an honor to have you here with me today. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Awesome. I'm really excited for this show, like I said earlier. And it's interesting the way I met you. I met you while I worked in the corporate world in Nigeria. And one of the things that really attracted me to you, I have been saying really, because I'm so passionate, and Mr. Chukwurah is somebody that is also really passionate. One of the things that drew me to you was just one word, and I would call that integrity. It's your integrity that drew me to you. You were a partner with the business I was working with. You're still a partner with them. And I found that the quality of, the output that we got from you was far above the rest. And I'd like us to touch, we'll touch on that during the course of this conversation, I'd like to find out really, I mean, how do you balance quality versus like scaling in an environment or in a market such as Nigeria, where many people put profits above other things? But I mean, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. So let's start with a game, which is the way I love to start my show. Let's before we unpack all of those things, let's start with a game. So we'll do two truths and a lie. Mrs. C, as I like to call you, can you tell us two truths about you and a lie, and then we'll give some time for our viewers to guess which is true and which is a lie, and just give them an opportunity to also get to know you better. So,
Mm.
are we doing? Oh, let's go. You just tell us three
Okay,
facts,
three
and
things, and I
yes,
wait for you to figure that out. One,
okay.
I'm an introvert.
Hmm.
Two, I don't like to travel.
Hmm.
And third, I worked for like 2 years before I started my business.
Okay. So the first was you're an introvert. I would
Hmm.
say that's a lie, because I mean, Miss Chukwurah is everywhere. Like you're my Owambe. I mean, for the non-Nigerians, Owambe is like party mama. So is that a lie? The introvert bit.
That's actually a truth.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm what I would call a trained extrovert
Hmm.
because of the kind of person I am. I like to speak up for people and make a stand, make my thoughts known. So over the years, I've learned to own my own voice. And
Hmm.
that has presented me like an extrovert. Left alone, I can be a very, very, very introverted person, but that's one thing nobody will ever believe. But that's the
I
truth.
That's very surprising to me, and I think it's quite ironical, to be honest. Both of us
People won't believe that, but it's the truth.
recording this now. I'm definitely an extrovert. Introvert. Did I say extrovert? No, introvert. So introverted, running this podcast, and then there's you. I mean, I think, it's a lesson for me, really, that the fact that you're introverted shouldn't limit your potential or your,
No,
you
you
know, your
shouldn't.
ability to do great things in life, to be honest.
Exactly.
And I do believe that being an introvert is a superpower. Okay, fantastic. So the first was that was true. You're an
Hmm.
introvert. And the second is you don't like traveling. For me, that's definitely a lie, because like I started with, I mean, you're a Chinese person in Nigerian
That's a
skin in
lie. I
Nigerian
love to
skin.
travel a lot.
Like, yes, and your second home is China. I mean, you're off to China tomorrow, for instance. So I mean, when I call you, the first thing I ask is, please, what continent are you on? So,
I get that a lot.
exactly. So, yeah, I got that right. So that's a lie. You do love to
That's a lie.
travel.
Hmm.
Okay, fantastic. And the third is that you worked for 2 years before you became an entrepreneur.
Yes,
Um, I actually don't know. Can you tell us? Is that true or false?
that's actually true. I only
Okay.
worked for 2 years before I started my business.
Yeah, that's amazing. Interesting. Is there anything that working for those 2 years did for you? So I'm assuming that you worked in a corporate environment.
Well, it is corporate, but not really corporate like that because it was a service provider
Okay.
business. And for me, one of the things I saw in that business was a need. I realized that a lot of Nigerian companies were wearing uniform and we had to source this uniform from outside Nigeria. I come from a background where my mom um, had a sewing business where she was producing to sell things in the market. And I thought to myself, I can do this, I can win this.
Hmm.
And that's how I resigned and I started that. And 23 years down the line,
Wow,
I'm still here.
that's amazing. So you identified that opportunity.
Yes.
Um, was there anything that you had to put in place before you jumped and resigned?
Okay, so I'm an extreme risk taker, the kind of risk I take.
Risk taker.
So I just
Okay.
bought like,
Huh.
yes, I bought like, I think two sewing machines. My first cutting table was my dining table in my sitting room. And I had
Mm.
another tailor. I employed a tailor to join me and my assistant, who is still with me today.
Oh, wow.
And that was how I started. My
Wow.
sitting room was my first workshop. And I would go to offices and pitch and tell them, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And I think my big break came when I went to a hotel,
Mm.
and at the moment the GM then was such a stickler for excellence and people being able to deliver, and he was looking for, everybody was bringing same old. And that was when they had this
Mm.
pen of nestling African hospitality with international standard. So I
Mm.
just thought, why don't I do something with a bit of ethnic feel to it? So I did some safari suits that had like wooden fabric in them, and I took it to him and was like, this is what I want. So why is everybody not thinking like this? And that's why he gave me
Mm.
the entire hotel's uniform, and that
Oh,
was my
wow.
big break.
Eco
Yes.
Hotel back then.
Yes,
Wow. Okay, and
that
that's how
was
you
my
just
big
broke
break.
in and
And that
you
was the
met.
point where they just left from Sheraton to being a hotel. So the Africanness of that brand needed to, be
Really
more
shine through.
pronounced. Yes.
Mm.
So they loved the uniform. The uniforms were nice, and from doing one department, I started doing all the other departments, and that's how I was the number one uniform provider for the entire hotel, and that was the big break for me in my entrepreneurship journey.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Um, so it sounds all glamorous, Mrs. Chukwurah. You know, like when you talk to so
Hmm.
many people today, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, um, oh, I'm starting a business. You know, and I guess social media doesn't make it any easier. You know, when we go there, everybody's doing well, everyone is successful on Instagram. You know, the entrepreneurs are really making it big. We don't see the
Hmm.
issues. We don't know that there are any challenges. But is it really, is it glamorous?
No, it's not.
Is there a glamorous, is there a glamorous side to it?
Like
Or,
I said, being an entrepreneur, especially in Nigeria, is an extreme sport. It really is. And one of the things that I find disturbing nowadays is the fact that people just come online and say, oh, I'm doing this. Somebody that, just started business maybe a year or two, and like, oh, I bought this building, I did this, I did that. And it gives other people, especially people that are genuinely putting their heart and everything into it, they begin to have that imposter syndrome. Am I doing something wrong? Am I not getting it right? Is For me, this is 23 years in the works, and I won't say that I'm there. I have my ups and downs. I have the days that I'm feeling like, yes, we are winning this, and there are days when you can't even eat, and you're just like, am I sure I'm in the right thing? Should I have taken on, being an entrepreneur? So it's not cast in stone, and it's not an easy journey, especially in a country like Nigeria where you have government policies changing. I remember there was a year that in one day, as a business, we lost over like 50 million in forex difference. And how do you go back to the client? Even the client was like, we're also losing money. Please don't come to us.
mm,
So it wasn't
wow.
something we can even get variation in. For some other person, it would have sank them, there are too many things that are unpredictable in entrepreneurship that you can't say, oh, it's a walk in the park. No, it is not. But for me, I feel the most important thing is for you to align your values. What is your value proposition? What do I want to do here? How do I want to get there? What are the services I want to provide? How do I want to be known? So when you're principled center, then you can start your journey from there. And I always say, have friends with people who are above you, have friends with people who are beneath you,
Mm.
have friends with people that you're on the same level, because you will need the
Mm.
strength of the tree to push you through. The days you feel like I can't go on anymore, it might be your contemporary that will say, I'm in the same boat. I feel the same way you feel. And you draw strength
Mm.
from that. And there might be days when you're just striving and feeling like, oh, it's not worth it. And then you see somebody that is ahead of you that is killing it. And you're like, you know what, that can be me. I can do it. And that inspires you. And then there's some other person that is just even starting the journey and they're like, I don't know whether this will work. And you're saying, look, if I'm still here, you can do it. And then you become
Mm.
aspirational for somebody else. So these three are important. You need to be aspirational for some other person. You need to have inspiration that you also look up to. And then you need to also have your mates that holds your hands when you need
Mm.
hand holding, because you can't get it all. You can't do it all by yourself. So
Mm.
trust your own journey. Trust the
Mm.
process. One thing I've learned in life is there is no elevator in life. You have to take the stairs. And climbing the stairs up is not the easiest thing. But leave the elevator people to the elevator, because at the end of the day, you find out that if you take the stairs, when those other people are a flash in the pan, they are here today, they are gone tomorrow, you find out that you're just going to be like that tree planted by rivers of water. You keep
Mm.
flourishing with every season that comes. It's
Mm.
not easy. It's not fun. It's like one of the craziest thing you can do to yourself. So you have to have the grit. You have to have integrity. You have to have the principle. You have to have the discipline to say, you know what, I want to do this. I always say entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You have
Mm.
to have the grit to do it. It's not for everyone.
I
It's
really like,
not.
one of the things, I mean, you've said a lot, but I really love what you said, that there's no elevator in life.
You
You
have to
have to
take the
take
steps.
it. Especially, I mean, now everybody wants everything in a flash. Everything is short. Attention span, everything is getting shorter, and we expect that success cycles will get shorter as well because of the proliferation of technology. People feel like, oh, now that there's technology, everything should be like sharp, sharp.
I mean, technology enhance what you do, but for you to
Mm.
be an entrepreneur, you can't depend on technology for everything. There are some things that have to be in it, that it has to come from you. You have to fail proof your plans. How do I know that this thing I want to do will be a success? You need to know exactly what you want to do. Outline your own journey, looking at your own personality and how it relates to whatever field you've chosen, and be sure that you know what, I've got what it takes to succeed in this without comparing yourself to others. I think that is key.
Okay, I love that. I love the way you rounded that off on the comparison note. And I think it's easier said than done. Don't compare yourself to others. It's easier said than done, especially when everybody else is in your face, really, because of social media and digital media and all of that. You spoke about losing 50 million. Was that over like a weekend or something? How do you, I mean, as an entrepreneur, a person loses that amount of money, how do you know that's not the end and you should keep going versus, okay, this is it. I need to pack up shop and call it a day and, keep moving. How do you know that it's not the end?
These are the things that prove you. That's like the fire test. Because you're
Mm.
going to second guess yourself. Your whole life will flash before you in a
Mm.
jiffy, but then it takes you also back to the reason why you're doing what you're doing. For me, when that happened to me, I felt like, no, I can't continue anymore. This is it. I can't. How will I even pay the bank and everything? But when I looked at the number of people that work with me, I'm the means of their livelihood. I'm there.
Mm.
Everybody is looking up to me. So just
Wow.
like David encouraged himself, I had to encourage myself and say, you know what, this is bad, but it's not the end. You have to be
Mm.
strong for these people. Where are they going to start from? Am I going to throw everybody out and say this is the end of the business? I went back to the bank, renegotiated my loans, told everybody, okay, we've lost this, we need to work harder. And we started repaying the money. At the end of the day, one day we finished paying and we're still
Mm.
standing. But he also taught us a way not to do business. So
Yeah.
now the people that I mentor, when I see them about to enter into that kind of problem, I'll say, that's a pitfall there. I've been there before. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get there. And it should be something that should make me sad, but is one of my stripe that I wear with pride. You can't tell
Mm.
me that you have money and you have not lost money. No,
Is it really, are you really losing money, or would you say that it was a 50 million lesson?
it was a hard lesson on how to do things better. And you see, sometimes these things are not even, it's not about you doing it right or wrong. It's about things happening to you. Like people will say, may Nigeria not happen to us. Nigeria can happen to you in a
Mm.
good way and it can happen to you in a bad way. Government policy, just a random policy can change the way everything is. You give a quote to a client, you've agreed, on the price, and the next day the price of freight changes in such a way that it does not
Mm.
even cover what you are bringing in anymore. There's been so many situations like that. Some clients will be empathic.
Wow.
Some would say, look, the same thing you are facing, we are facing it. Sorry, we can't do variation for you. So
Mm.
it's never that smooth a path. That's just it. There will always be a lot of ups and downs, but if you keep at it, you get better, and
Mm.
you would have a success story at the end of the day. Some people throw in the towel as in, this has happened, I can't do it again. I'm done. I have friends like that that went back to nine to
The
five
corporate world.
because
Mm.
that happened to them. They are doing well there, but for those of us that have also stayed on this journey of entrepreneurship, I can say that we are getting better, we're getting bolder, and we're doing well. We're
Mm.
expanding. Entrepreneurship is not cast in stone. It's like
Mm.
people that bought shea butter now and they were planning to export it. There's a new government policy that says you can't export it. So what are they going to
Mm.
do with all this? I know somebody that is stuck with hundreds of million worth of this product. So yes, this happens, but it shouldn't be the end. I've seen people that have lost a lot of money and they've made it back. Dangote, if we get to hear his story, we'll be shocked at how much money he has lost. But everybody see the glamorous part of Dangote. There are days when he's been up all night that he cannot sleep
Mm.
because of pending issues. But that's not to say that entrepreneurship is all gloom and doom. No. You have the days when you are able to do some things and you're like, did I just do that? And it just makes you feel
Mm.
like a superhuman,
Mm.
when you
Mm.
exceed expectations from people, or you think of an idea that just goes viral and it's such a huge success. It gives you such a good feeling. So there's
Mm.
a balance to it. It's not all doom, 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 doom. There is you developing yourself, there is you grooming other people, there's you seeing. I mean, I look at some of my staff sometimes and I'm like, I remember when they started with me and who they are now, and I'm just so
Mm.
happy. It fills me with so much pride.
Just on your staff, Mr. Chukwurah, can you
Mhm.
tell us your longest? So I wanted us to talk about how you actually even find the right kind of staff. But your longest serving staff, I know you said one joined like right off the bat when you started earlier.
Yes,
So the longest serving staff would be about what, 23 years with you?
yes.
How many staff do you have, if you don't mind me asking, now in your factory?
We have well over 100, but
Oh wow.
not all of them are permanent. A lot of them are
Okay.
contracts. So
Okay.
we
Okay.
have the permanent and we have the contracts, but we have well over 100.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense when you said you couldn't just throw in the towel, and a lot of people depend on you for their livelihood.
Definitely.
I think
So for
that's.
me, staff, employing people, I learned something from my boss. She's always like, oh, Yemi, we don't need the most skilled person. Skills can be taught, but I need people with the right kind of attitude. And I think that's worked for me in my own business because I always put attitude before skills, because skills can always be taught, but a person with the wrong kind of attitude, they won't even stay. So I don't have
Mm.
that high turnover that people have. My driver has been with me for over 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
I have
Mm.
staffs that have stayed 18, 19. My staff stays. The ones that wants to go, they're free to come and talk to me about their dreams. In fact, there are some that have left that I was the one that encouraged them that, you know what, I think you are good at this. Let's set this up for you and you can become a
Mm.
partner. So when we have things, we can outsource to you. Go and start doing this. And then there are staffs that are partner with in starting another company that is, I feel, you know what, you have enough strength in this area, we can become partners. So we'll
Mm.
run this together. So I believe so much in my people. I believe in being fair to people. Some people don't want their staff to, no, don't let them know, don't let them do. They
Mm.
want to keep them
Mm.
small. But what does it
Mm.
benefit me? So I believe in my people means the word to me.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, everybody will say that customer is always right. Customer is king, but my people are my first customer,
Mm.
because if your staffs are not happy, you can't satisfy that customer. And if you lose a client today, you might be lucky to get even three or four more. tomorrow. But if you lose a good hand that understands your business, that understands how to work with you, you might not be able to replace that person in a jiffy, and it can affect the overall production and output of your organization. So it might be contrary to what people will preach or believe, but for me, my people means the world to me. They are
That's
my number one customer, and I want to satisfy them. I
key.
believe in rewarding them. People will say,
Mm.
oh, don't work with a one-man business. There is no advantage to it. No, in my office, my staff we do the craziest thing. We'll do the big surprise parties, give out cars, give out
Oh
whatever
wow.
people
For your
deserve.
staff?
Yes,
For your staff?
yes.
Oh wow.
So if you are deserving of it, definitely. One of my
That's
staff, we had a job with Nokia, and that job was so frustrating. It's one of the most frustrating job I've ever done in my
mm,
life. We had set up where they were going to have the meeting and everything in a hotel, and they came in and said, "Oh, we don't like the hall. The hall is this." The event was supposed to start 8 a.m. in the morning, and this was around, I think it was around 10 p.m. in the evening. So everything we had done the whole day, we had to take down and move to another
mm,
hall. It was so frustrating. And this young man walked up to me and said, "Oh, madam, do you need any help?" And I was just like, what does he want?" He said, "I don't have anything to give you." He said, "No, I didn't come for anything. I just noticed that you look stressed. Do you need any help? I'm supposed to go with the boss, the staff boss, but I missed it already. So he said, "Oh,
mm.
if you can help me pull this down." And I just went off to do other things. Even some
He
of my
wasn't
own,
your staff. He just
it
walked up
wasn't
to
my
you.
staff. Some of the contract staff that came with me were like, no, after doing this for the whole day, they are pulling it down. No, we're going there. So some of them left. I had to call some other people. And when I
Mm,
came back around 3 a.m., I saw that this guy was still with my team working. I just told him, I said, "Please tender your resignation letter tomorrow. You have a job with me." And
wow.
that's how many years ago? More than
And he's still with
15
you today.
years. He's still with me,
That's incredible.
and is still doing great things. So for me, that's the kind of attitude, can do attitude that I look for in
Mm,
my staff. People that have the owning spirit. When they do your business like it's their own, it
mm,
makes a whole lot of difference. And I think that's the thing that for a lot of entrepreneurs, that's what actually destroys them, because some people don't take care of their people, they
mm,
treat them badly. Be truthful with your people, be open to them, treat them like human beings. It brings about emotional buy-in, and when there is emotional buy-in, you find out that your staffs don't leave and your business
mm.
do really, really well. Even when people try to poach my staff will come and tell me, Ma, do you know how much this person is offering me? They tell me to come and start. I told them that they are not serious. We are free enough for them to tell me. And it's not like
Wow.
I'm the best person to work with, too, because I'm very principled and I'm very stern. I am
Mm.
that hard person, but there is a balance.
I think these are gems. These are gems you're dropping, Miss Chikara. Gems.
If you drop the ball, I'm going to tell you, pick it up. But also, my staff know that if anything is happening to me, I'm calling my boss first, because they know that I will catch a grenade for them. I will
Mm.
go to work for them. They know
It's
it's
mm.
clear. My staff will tell me, "Do you know who my boss is? You don't want to mess with me." I know the characters of my staff, so they know that I will stand up for them. And because they know that I know them, people will not misbehave. This is
Incredible.
something that I think entrepreneurs needs to
Mm.
learn and imbibe,
Mm.
because it goes a long way. Because it brought about stability in my business and a lot of growth. When we have our general
Incredible.
meetings, we
Mm.
call it family meeting. And we're able to
Oh,
tell
wow.
ourselves truth. Yes. I remember when I think it was when I started in CEIBS, there was a course we did, and it involves you asking your staff how they feel and everything. I was really feeling myself. I came back and like, "Oh, guys, feel free to tell me." I remember one of our quality control staff said, "You are mean. You are very mean." You know, I heard some very hard truths about myself
Oh,
that day.
wow.
It took me like a month to sit down with different groups to explain, okay, this is why I'm like this. Oh, one said, "Oh,
Mm.
when you come, I'm just scared. I'm just scared because if you should yell." So I learned that the things that I was doing that wasn't making people happy.
But it takes humility, Mrs. C. It takes humility to actually want to sit down and listen to your staff give you that kind of feedback, doesn't it?
But it is the best thing that happened to me,
Mm.
because you would think, oh, you're this nice person, but
Mm.
people have different opinions of you. So
Wow.
for some people, I had to sit down and explain to them, "Look, this is why I'm like this with you." Oh,
Mm.
for some people, like, I didn't know came across like this. I apologize for that. And the entire atmosphere in my organization changed after that because
Mm.
everybody felt heard, everybody felt important. You can't say because you're a manager, you're going to walk over the cleaner. When even me, I've gone
Mm.
to meet the cleaner to apologize that, oh, I'm sorry, the way I spoke to you that day, I didn't know that he hurt you. Please, am I
Mm.
forgiving and everything? So everybody had
Wow.
to change. Everybody had to
Wow.
change. And the interesting thing was that after I did that, there was a job we were doing, and we had this mega headache about one of the design. We didn't know how to do it. Everything we're doing was just not turning out well. We had meetings upon meetings, and the cleaner just came in and said, Ma, can I give an idea? Why don't we do it like this, like this, like this? And
Mm.
everybody looked at him. I said, are you a tailor? He said, yes. They actually came to
Wow.
apply as a tailor, but because there was no space and he needed a job, that's why he became a
Of the
cleaner.
clean
And
principle.
we went and applied the idea that he gave, and that was the solution to the problem. And that is how
Miss
it
C,
became
you're
clear.
dropping. This is. It feels like I'm in a Harvard classroom for real.
And
This is a real life case
that is how
study.
is one of the head tailors in my organization
Wow.
today. So you
This
don't know
is.
where the help is going to come from.
I love
If
that so
if
much.
if,
I
if
love
it's a
it.
situation where we have everybody has imposed themselves upon him, he will have that idea, but he will not be able to talk. But it's
So
such an
it's you.
environment
You
that
made it a safe. Is a safe space.
is a safe space for people to hear their
Express.
opinion and express themselves. And
That
I
is.
can't even count how many encounters we've had like that.
Oh wow, Miss. You see, this one episode won't be enough. To be honest, you need to promise us that you're gonna come back.
Always happy to come back.
Because I mean, you've dropped so much, so many gems in there. It's so incredible to hear, and I think there's so many things that even for corporate workers can be applied. I think it's really amazing. I mean, you've dropped so much. Where do I want to start from? I mean, from you, your staff don't leave. They stay with you. You have to be humble as even as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, humble enough to listen, to ask for the feedback in the first place, from your staff, and then listen to that feedback and work on the feedback. And that's how you create a safe space for the staff, not to want to leave. And they actually now come to you when they get offers from other businesses. You sound like a superwoman, to be honest.
A
How
lot of my
much?
staff, a lot of my
Yeah.
staff have done that. And there are some of them that have said, you know what, I think you should take this offer. I think it's really,
Mm.
really nice. I think it's going to work for you. I think you should go on.
How much of these principles, the principles, the things that you've spoken about, your leadership style, how much of it is influenced by your personality and the things you learned in various classrooms that you've been in, from OAU to CEIBS to Harvard? I mean, how have those
Mm.
programs influenced? Because you did the owner director program at
Owner
CEIBS, is that?
director program, I did the
Yeah.
Weller and I did the executive program in Harvard. I've done the
Okay.
Stanford Seed program too. I would say that one thing I got from all my learnings is I always say this: do not be learned, always be learning.
Mm.
Because when you feel like I know it
Can you
all,
unpack? Let's
you will
unpack that.
stop it. When you feel like, oh, I know it, so this is how to do it, you don't open your mind up to a different way of doing things. I will call myself a principle centered person. So I have my own value system that I want to put in place in my business. However, from all my learnings, I would say that even some of these principles have been better enhanced, and I've also learned a
Right.
lot of new things. It's not, I mean, there are things you feel, oh, I know how to do this, I'm very good at it. And then by the time you get exposure to an education, you realize that it can be better,
Mm.
So I have this belief that you shouldn't be learned, you should always be learning. So the learning
Mm.
culture is something that I've really, really embraced. And as much as I
Mm.
can, I wouldn't say I like school, but I've realized that school drops gold on your lap sometimes, especially with a school
Mm.
like China Europe International Business School. When you're taught something in class, you're taken immediately to a factory of somebody that is implementing what you've been taught. So there is no excuse for you that it doesn't work. So you
Yeah.
also have to find a way to come and apply it to your life, your business, your staff, whichever area it is, be it in marketing or your branding and everything.
Mm,
And I won't lie, this education has really, really expanded my business. It's changed a lot of things for me, especially with my manufacturing business. I've learned better ways of doing things, learning the Chinese way of manufacturing, and
mm,
generally learning, their culture, their work culture has really, really changed a lot for me. Their work
mm,
culture is a lot different from how Nigerians are, even in the way we do things. So bringing in that culture into my own space has changed a lot of things for me. So I would say
I
that
think it's, yeah.
the voice of my education speaks truth every day and
Mm,
newness to my
mm,
business. So
mm.
education do have a voice and it speaks.
I think one of the key things I'm taking from this is that the fact that you're an entrepreneur doesn't automatically mean that you stop learning. You know,
You
you
should,
have to.
in fact, you should get as much training as you can. For me, when people
Mm,
come to me now and say, "Oh, I want you to mentor me and everything," I've done this for more than how many women that I'll tell them, you know what, go and register for Wella, the Women
mm,
Entrepreneurship class with CEIBS. Because by the
okay.
time they come back, it's like somebody that has bad eyesight and you're wearing glasses, they can see better. So when you're even giving them advice, they're able to understand it. There's
Mm,
structure around what they do. A lot of times we're just hustling. There's science to making money, and it comes with
mm,
education. It
mm.
comes with
It's
education.
not about working hard, eh?
No, there is a way to work smart. There is you doing customer segmentation. There is you knowing the place where you should be. Take that product to where are the demography of the people that wants to buy it. What's the structure that should be around your business? There are people that will employ 20 people. Meanwhile, they might just be okay with just two people doing the job. So all of this will help you to know trackable growth where you can fail proof your plans. You know the tools to employ to get what you want, as against just walking blindly. That's what education does for you. It brings clarity, it
That's
brings
amazing.
structure,
Mm,
it brings discipline, it brings tools to apply. These are knowledge that you
mm,
don't want to just throw away. And I would not lie. I mean, I've always felt like, oh, I'm a very, very shrewd and up and about entrepreneur, but after my education, I can see the growth in my business. I have two business case studies that has been written about me and my business. That's growth. There is
wow.
something tangible that now others can write about and learn from. This, for me,
Mm,
tells me that as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't give up on learning, no matter how old you are. You should always be looking for something new. And I can tell, I
not
mean,
every,
more
yeah.
than 10 women that I know that have decided to, get some form of education, that I can tell you that their business did a 360 change completely. So
Mm,
this is something that you will always see the fruits in your business. It's an immediate thing. It's an immediate thing.
mm. Can I ask a question? So, I mean, not everyone can go to CEIBS, not everyone can do well, not everyone can go to Stanford or Harvard. So, I mean, what's your advice in that regard when it comes to learning for, entrepreneurs, up and coming?
There are open programs where they're just doing just maybe just one module or one course out of a lot of modules. There are a lot of organizations that organize even free trainings and all of that. Just
Hmm.
be excited about learning. Be curious.
I love that you're saying this. So, basically, there's no excuse not to learn. There's no excuse. There's no excuse not to learn in today's world. If whatever you don't know is because you don't want to know it, right? Everything
Even
is
on
freely
YouTube, you
available
can find things that,
on
you can
YouTube.
shadow other people that are doing great things.
I'd like us to touch on the faith aspect. Many entrepreneurs credit their faith for guiding their decisions. Can you talk to us about how your faith has influenced, your leadership and the way you navigate business uncertainties? How has faith shaped your business? How has it shaped the way you run your business? Can we just talk about that? let me just add to that. So, you know, some people are like, okay, when it comes to your business, you are one person. When it comes to God, you're a different person, because running business in Nigeria is, it's a different ballgame entirely. There are kickbacks. It's not possible to do business in Nigeria with integrity. The two don't mix. They're two separate things. Let's talk about that. Let's unpack it.
For me, one scripture that actually stood out for me when I wanted to start my business was that scripture. I think was David that said it, that as for me, I walk in my integrity. And
Mm,
I wanted to be able to know whether I was doing well or whether I'm good at what I'm doing. And one thing I realized is that if I'm bribing everybody, they will give me job. I'm never going to have that confidence to know whether I'm doing well or not. I mean,
mm,
you can give people gifts, but not as a bribe. You know, you can be nice to people and say, "Oh, I'm giving you this," but it's separate from saying, "I'm giving you this because I need you to do
so
this for me."
that's
And
mm,
I just tried to be as organic as possible in my business, and I follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. I'm a Christian, and it's not something that is just word of mouth. Is the way I live. It's my lifestyle.
mm,
So I want God to guide me. I remember there was a job that I got a long time ago when I started my business. The client said, "Oh, I need you to deliver so time." I know I would not be able to meet that delivery timeline. It was a lot of money. And I went back and I returned the PO. I remember the man looking at me and said, "Are you in Nigeria?" I said, "I will not be able to meet up with that delivery timeline." The person they eventually gave the job to deliver much later than the time I was even saying I was going to deliver. But he shall head on to it. I think he was even blacklisted at the end of the day. But you see, for this gentleman, till he left that business in Nigeria, if he wants to do anything, he would always request for me, because he would say,
mm,
whatever she says, I know she's going to keep her word. And I try to do that. For me, it's business is not always about profit. It's also about not making people look bad. I remember something that I did with MTN when they were doing season of surprise, and I'd gone to do the t-shirt, the cap, everything from China. I'd come to Nigeria to say, "Oh, your goods are ready, will be shipped to Nigeria." And as I was leaving the office from speaking to late Wale, God rest his
mm.
soul, it was like, "Oh, so we're good, madam. Thank you." And as I was walking out, I got a call from China saying there is no cargo flight coming to Nigeria. I thought to myself, how am I going to go back and tell this man that this thing is not going to come? And
Mm.
I had to practically go to China and
Wow.
carry all those goods to Nigeria because I gave a word.
Wow.
Of course,
Mm.
whatever profit I was going to make was not equal to me going to China. I think I went to China like 3 times within the space of 2 weeks to bring everything in. I
Wow.
was buying MCO to bring the goods in, and I was asking other people that I see, "Do you mind me buying extra bag for you?" And that's how I brought everything in. My client did not know the horrors that happened behind that. But what happened was
And your
that I
client doesn't
delivered.
need to, your client actually
They
doesn't
don't
need
need
to
to
know that
know,
you went
but
through all that, right?
the truth of the
Mm.
matter was, at the end of the day, the procurement department were able to say, "This is the only person that delivered the goods around this time. Others couldn't deliver it." And he did register in the heart of people that this is somebody that will go over and beyond to get things done.
And they-
And this still stems from who I am in God. I'm not going to put somebody
mm,
else's job on the line. And a
mm,
lot of my clients, even after they leave the organizations in which they worked, will still call me. We're still friends. And I believe it's because they saw something in me. If I was ever in doubt of this, your faith that you're embracing in the place of business, is it worth it? That sealed it for me. That sealed it for me.
mm,
That even somebody that I know does not like me would naturally not work with me when the chips are down and they know that we need to know whether this thing can be delivered, this thing will be done. This is the person I'm going to recommend. So I realized that it pays to just work in integrity and give your
mm.
best to all that you're doing. For me, God is key, and it comes true for me always.
That's amazing. Yeah, he always comes through. I think it's a beautiful note to leave to leave on? I mean, there's absolutely no way we're not going to have you back another time, Mrs. Chukwurah, because there's so many facets to you. And something I didn't talk about, or something I didn't mention earlier, was the fact that, I mean, I mentioned that Mrs. Chukwurah is a mom, but we need to talk about parenting, and we also need to be having a session with not just you back here with us, but with your children as well, especially Star Girl. And I'm not going to mention her name yet. Um, so, Mrs. Chubara, if there was one message, I mean, we've spoken about entrepreneurship in Nigeria. It's an extreme sport. However, if I follow through the journey and what we've learned from you today, there's a method. There's a method to the madness. You know, it's not just about working so hard. You can actually work smart. There are guiding
Yes.
principles. There are things you need to put in place. You know, there are ways you need to treat your staff. There's a way to hire the right kind of staff. There are things to look out for. So if there was one message, and we spoke about the fact that life is not an elevator, you need to take the stairs. You know, there's no elevator. Everyone needs to take the stairs, but we don't see the story of people climbing the stairs in many cases. We just see the story of them at the top and just assume automatically that they took the elevator to get there. So if there was one thing, just rounding it all off, if there was one message that you wanted to leave with the young entrepreneur, or the young female entrepreneur, young male or female entrepreneur, but young, hungry, hungry in terms of passion, you know, for making change, for making a difference, for, you know, just creating a space, a new space, a green space for them to take over. If there was just one message that you wanted to leave, what would that possibly be?
It will be the Chinese word guanxi. Your guanxi is very important. Guanxi is your network.
Guanxi, Guanxi.
In China, you're as rich as your network.
Okay.
Guanxi, you're as rich as your
Mm.
network.
Guanxi.
And that means lend your powers to others, pour into others, choose your network wisely. They can make or marry you. They might be that network that will pull your hand up, or they might be the one that will bury you and you never come out of it. So as an entrepreneur, this is key. And also
Mm.
when others pour into you, learn to pour into others. I mean, I'm a firm believer in women supporting women. That's not to say that I've not met terrible women that have gotten my hands burnt, but is that going to stop me? No, because there are more
Yeah.
good people than there are the bad people, and you're just
Mm.
guarded. But more importantly, learn to lend your powers to others, treasure your network,
Mm.
invest in people, believe the best about everyone, and beyond all, even if you doubt yourself, even if you are losing faith, keep pushing. Just keep going forward, and you can only get better. Believe in
Mm.
yourself, treasure yourself, and invest in yourself, because at the end of the
Mm.
day, it all comes down to you. Surround
Mm.
yourself with good people, not people who will take life out of you, but people who will breathe life
Mm.
into you. People will breathe life into you. So your guanxi is your richest asset as an
Mm.
entrepreneur. Invest wisely in
Wow.
that.
Thank
That
you
will be my
so
final word.
much. I've learned so much from you today, and I'm sure our viewers out there have learned so much as well from you. Thank you so much. If we want to stay in touch, or anyone wants to follow you across social media channels, I'll leave it in the description. Or we can find you on LinkedIn, right? Omoyemi Chukwurah on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It was really great to have you on here today.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
all the gems
I had
that
fun.
you shared with us. Really appreciate that. Thank you for unpacking entrepreneurship with me today. Thank you so much, Mrs. C. See you another time. You'll be back with us when you're back with us with Stargirl. Thank you. See you next
I
time.
look forward to that.
Bye.
Bye, Tayo.
Goodbye.